Hey, welcome to Mornings with the Focus. Join us more by Justin Walters, Sports Ruckus. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. All right, you guys know how this goes. Got a couple, scripted items or topics, what have you, that we'll discuss this morning. Started with the NBA playoffs. After that, it's up to you guys. Hit the comment section. Let us know what you guys want to talk about. Share your thoughts. Again, join the conversation. This takes place each and every morning, for the most part, unless I got actual work that I have to go do. And get up and leave the house and go do. But usually start time somewhere between 9:30 and 10 a.m. So, if you guys subscribe and hit the notifications, whether it's 9:30, 9:51, 9:46, got the notifications, it'll let you guys know when we go live. That said, we're going to get started with the NBA playoffs as always. Some consistency here. You put these guys up on screen right quick. And there we go. All right, so last night was game one of the Western Conference Finals. I know yesterday we talked a little bit about, Miami taking game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Warriors got off to a good start in the opening quarter. They went on one of those patented third quarter runs to blow the game open en route to a 112-87 win. They did so off the strength of their defense. And then obviously, the ball moving on the offensive end. This Dallas team has some similarities with those Houston teams from a few years back. Obviously Harden and Luka are two totally different types of players, but what is similar is that they are facilitators and the other folks on the court kind of space the floor and try to make teams play by having one, you can't really stay in front of those guys. And we're going to specifically talk about Luka. He's just hell to deal with. It's not a one-man job to defend him. It takes everybody on the court. And that said, dude reads the floor so freaking well. He's such a great passer. He's able to, pick apart defenses more often than not, find shooters. Shooters are knocking down shots in rhythm. That said, Golden State is just, because of those past experiences with Houston, they have a wealth of experience to rely on that some teams don't. And obviously, again, Luka, like that James and Luka, Luka aren't the same. But again, it is the same in the sense of you got your main guy, you got 10 sets of eyes or 5 sets of eyes on them while they do their thing and try to create for others. The Mavs shot just 23% from deep last night. They shot 11 of 48 from range. Some of those were clean looks. Some were clean looks in rhythm. They just missed. More often than not, however, those were contested threes. Luka had a good first half, scoring 18 points, but he struggled in the second half, turning the ball over 6 times, 7 on the evening, but 6 times in the second half. I think he scored just once in the second half. While Dallas played small ball against the Suns and kind of worked in their favor, they're doing so against a team that kind of like, that Bane quote from Dark Knight Rises? When Bane was telling Batman, like, yeah, you kind of know what the dark is, but like, I live here. I was bred by it. I don't know the quote verbatim, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That's Golden State when you're trying to out small ball Golden State. They live in this space. The last round, they had to deal with Steven Adams, freaking Jaren Jackson Jr., Xavier Tillman, Brandon Clark, a team with dumb size in Memphis. And we saw in their closeout game, those dudes had 70 rebounds. So if you're Dallas, you don't have a bunch of true bigs and, kind of your bigs are kind of closer to the size of Golden State bigs, except Golden State bigs have had to do this for since their inception of being final contenders. That's something to keep an eye on. Last night, the battle on the glass, Golden State won the battle 51-35. That's going to matter in this series. They Golden State, that is, didn't shoot it particularly well from deep, connected at just a 34% clip. However, they move well off the ball. They got a ton of just timely cuts. Clay was making a living with good cuts. Wiggins, Poole, Curry, all of them just move so well without the ball. And it's not just from running, it's not just from beyond the arc. And we saw Dallas's defense break down time and time again on these timely cuts. All 5 starters scored in double figures for the Warriors. 7 players did in total on the evening. They were led by Curry's 21 points and 12 rebounds. Andrew Wiggins had 19 points and 5 rebounds, and he did a great job. You're not gonna shut down Luka Doncic, right? But you can slow him down, and to slow him down, it means a person that's at the point of attack more often than not Right? You got to fall on the sword. And Wiggins did a good job, stuck with the game plan and did his best to just harass him. And then he had help with great help defense from the rest of the team. Jordan Poole also added 19. As for the Mavericks, they had 4 players scoring double figures. They're led by Lucas, 20 points, 7 rebounds. Dinwiddie had 17 off the bench. Jalen Brunson struggled a little bit. He had 14 points, and Reggie Bullock finished with 12. It's only one game, so it's not time. We're not going to make any big sweeping declarations here. And several of the Warriors players mentioned last night that, Dallas has already come back. It's only 1-0, but they've said, like, pretty much giving credit to Dallas for their mental toughness. Like, we've seen Dallas come back from down 2 games already in this postseason to get here. So, they're just kind of focused on, they took care of the first game, got to do it again in game 2, and so forth and so on. Personally, I definitely expect a better performance from Dallas. I'm sure they'll try to make some adjustments. Jason Kidd's done a hell of a job coaching this year and in the postseason specifically. But I think the rebounding battle is something that might not change that much, and that is something I'm truly concerned about in this series. Dallas has to rebound the ball better, and then they're going to have to figure out on defense what they want to do. And a lot of it is just, right, it's one thing, like, and they've seen Golden State because they play in the Western Conference, but right, to deal with them defensively and all their actions and the continuous movement, it's tough on a defense. I don't care how good you are defensively. They put stress on you. So we're going to see how they adjust to it. And, it should be for an exciting game 2, which takes place tomorrow night, again, at the Chase Center in the Bay. Game 2 is tomorrow night, like I said. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals is tonight, as Miami looks to go up 2-0 on Boston, while the Celtics look to even up the series before the series shifts back to Beantown. Where we go? Okay. This is what Justin wanted to talk about today. I'm putting this all up. This is all his decision. He wanted to talk about second-year wideouts. The wide receiver class from last year is going into this year. Gonna share some names, talk about their production and who I guess we expect to take a leap or who can take a leap forward. And I guess we'll just go down the draft board in terms of how people were selected. That means we're starting with one Ja'Marr Chase, 81 catches, 1,455 yards last season, and 13 touchdowns.
Yeah, Ja'Marr Chase was he wasn't just a top rookie. He was just a top player last year. Like, what he did for that team, and him and Burrow, the way they stayed in shape for college was just impressive. Like, they made NFL corners, Pro Bowl corners look bad. Like, again, there's questions with Chase the player, but he does a good job of playing to his strengths. He's never going to be the best at his releases and things like that, but his ability to attack the ball and make plays after the catch is top notch. And just him and Higgins are a great duo also. So I think he's in the right place for him. And again, he's going to make plays no matter where he is, but just Burrow's confidence to throw the ball, even if he's somewhat covered, and his ability to separate in the air and just make tough catches. Obviously, occasionally he's going to give you the bad drop because he tries to do too much, or certain corners are going to give him a tough time. But he's one of them guys that he could be struggling against a guy, but it just takes one play, one play to get him going, and it's a whole other game. 3 catches for 120, like one of those type things where you feel like he did a good job, and then you look at the score and you're like, man, Chase had 2 touchdowns today. Like, that's the kind of player he is. He's only going to get better as he set out last year in college, so there's still room for growth for him, which is kind of scary.
What's going on, Kirksey? We just finished up talking about the Western Conference Finals a little bit ago. So if you got any thoughts or questions, comments, grievances, what have you on that, man, I know we already started talking NFL. Feel free, fire away. You already know what it's like here. Welcome. All right, up next. I don't have much to add on Ja'Marr Chase. All right, like, it's just advertised. He was exactly what he was supposed to be. He didn't waste any time showing everybody. His year 2 should be another step up. The only thing that would be interesting to see if, my guy Cardell, we saw about when the scout report catch up, see how teams plan to deal with them going forward. What he does have in his favor, boy, they got a hell of a 1B over there in T. So, you can if you want to, Is it worth it? So that's the thing that's the thing that he has in his back pocket. Kersey's got to see how the Mavs respond. Yeah, man. I don't expect them to go quietly. I'm just one of those people. I feel like it's a bad matchup for Dallas. Just Phoenix offensively, they're just way more stagnant. It's more that they're kind of more similar to Dallas in terms of you got your main facilitator and they got to make things go. Where Golden State, man, everybody passing, cutting, moving, it's just chaos. It's organized chaos on wheels. And I think defensively, like you can have a plan for it, but man, there's some people who can't. I feel like there's more people on Dallas that shouldn't be in space on defense than there is on Golden State. Now, a lot of people are like, oh man, get Steph in space. You can say what you want to. Maxi Kleber looked like he didn't need to be on an island. Davis Bertans, every minute he's on the court, blood in the water. Luke is also not a good defender. Like the thing with Phoenix was, man, Jay Crowder ain't putting that thing on the floor. Mikal Bridges, he can, but it's not to that effect. Nor are those guys the type of shooters these guys are over there, man. So, I think it's interesting. You got Luka, you always got a chance. But I just think I don't think it's going to take a special team to out small ball the Warriors. And I don't think Dallas can just out small ball the Warriors. And, I'm going to get some of your other comments, Kersey. Yeah, the Warriors did not play great, but defensively they were on one. And I think they could play better defensively, but, like, they were tied together. How many times did you see, like, I don't know if Dallas' shooters were prepared because in the Phoenix series, as that series went on, those dudes got more and more, like, good wide open shots off drives from Luka. Last night, man, you got to go to State flying to them contests. And it's a little bit different when you get in rhythm and you pull the contestants mad late. Man, there's a couple times, but how many times we seen shots get blocked off kickouts to the corner for corner threes? And some of the Dallas players are like, what the hell is this? Not just is it a contest, but what the hell is this? You blocked it? Why are you here? You were just there. And I think it's gonna take a minute to get used to it. I think Miami's gonna get first their 2 games at home. I think Boston to get their 2 games at home, and then the series will get started. Or technically Boston won 3 to 4 quarters in game 1, so I don't know. It depends on what side of it you're on. Jimmy Butler, one of being the top players in the world, man. He's tough. I think Jimmy is super tough. I'm just real hesitant on throwing people in that that rarefied air. And I think Jimmy's hooping, like, for sure. But give him some time. We'll see where this goes. Consistency matters. Sid, Minnesota didn't make splashes wide receiver free agency at the draft. England is real with injuries. How do you feel about their second year wide receiver Osborne? Go ahead, Justin.
Now he's I don't think he's a number 2. I think, like, with with a guy like Thielen there, it allows Osborne to kind of get you like your 40 catches for 700 yards type thing. 5-6 touchdowns. Like, I think that's what his game is. But I don't think he's the guy. Like, obviously got Jefferson's going to be the number 1, and then Thielen is slowly, he's reliable, but it's kind of like you said with the injuries and this age and getting beat up a little bit is kind of taking away his efficiency. So I mean, Osborne might have a slight jump, but I don't think he's the guy. Like they probably should have started looking for someone to start taking the Thielen role, because I think Osborne is like a 2 would maybe be like a little over his head, but a 3 he's a really good, be a solid player.
Yeah, I think that's something where we might look back to this draft and question some of the decisions they made in trading down or what have you when they helped other teams select wide receivers when maybe they should have tried to go get the dude to succeed, to go get Thielen's successor, to play, to grow old with Jefferson. And obviously you can still do it next year, but God forbid Thielen goes down this year, or Father Time hits him a little hard, you're in a tough place unexpectedly, because then it hit you before you were prepared. You had an opportunity to be prepared. Kirksey, this is big too. Like, people can say what they want to say about Andrew Wiggins. You got to defend him. And this is the thing, Luka can't hide anywhere. There is nowhere to run when you're on the floor. They're going to find you. They move the ball so much, you're going to be involved in actions you don't want to be involved in. Meanwhile, last series, man, just go sit out on the corner and wait and kind of guard one of them dudes who have to have this table set for them. But you got 17 people set screens, 15 dribble handoffs, 4 ISOs and drives and kicks, and you're just in hell defensively. So I think that's gonna be tough for Luka too. I don't know how much, because of what might be demanded out of him defensively. I don't know what his legs are gonna look like, and that that's gonna play a role in this series as well. Got to make great offensive players play defense for sure, and that's why I feel like this whole time, like people have been waiting for Steph to die because he's been hidden or whatever. Like, right? He's been put in that situation so many times over these years. Like, at some point, y'all got to just accept he's not a horrible defender. Like, they wouldn't have accomplished what they've accomplished this far, or be who they are now if he was complete and utter fool on that end. He's solid, whether you like it or not. He's just solid. So, is he the best defender on that team? Obviously not. But he's not Bertans. He's not Luka. He's not Dwight Powell in space. Again, I can go down the list of the Mavericks in space covering last night, and it got dark. It just got dark. It just got real. And, like, I felt bad for Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock. Last series, again, hey, I got to stay in front of Book. I got to stay in front of CP3. Bro, you got to go chase these people. 24 seconds of freeze tag with screens. And then your dude might not even get the ball, which means you can't even help one of your fellow teammates who is way worse defensively. So we'll see how they figure things out. I got faith in Jason Kidd that they will adjust. Yeah, I'm with you, Kirksey. They played a 3-ball game, so I doubt they get over. So other thing, man, you're going to out 3-ball a 3-ball team. I mean, we'll see what happens, but it's fun, right? And again, the series far from over, but I know Cardell Raymond and myself shared our thoughts on other programs already about how the series is going to go. Actually, I think we talked about it Monday morning, but we'll see how this goes. On to the next wide receiver in this class, going into year 2. We got Jalen Waddle, who has a new partner on the perimeter in Miami now, and one they got the cheetah out there. And what Chase did last year, Waddle, 104 catches, 1,015 yards and 6 touchdowns. Justin, your thoughts on what he can do year 2? Keep in mind where this offense may be going.
For a guy with 104 catches, it's crazy to think that he could be better this year. And I think just having just another year with Tua and then another year with adding Tyreek Hill and Cedric Wilson and the new offensive coordinator and the running backs, and it's going to allow him to actually take advantage of that speed more. Now he had a lot of intermediate short catches. Now it's going to allow him to stretch the field where he's going to be able to go deep, and then sometimes Tyreek Hill, him and Tyreek Hill can really be interchangeable. And I think that's you'll go back to some of the stuff at Bama that people that made you love Waddle in the first place. Where he was next to all the guys they had. So I think like I said, this year he was the only guy Tua trusted. Because they knew he can get open fast. And I think it was a good experience for him also because Waddle was never really the man in college either. At Alabama, he was, with Devontae and him, and then he got hurt. It was him being behind behind Smith, Judy, and Ruggs. So he kind of never was the man. And then last year, he went in there and took the full load. He was 104 catches. That was a lot of work from him, taking tough matchups and winning. But now it's like, imagine being the defense is coming and scheming for Tyreek Hill, and now you're an afterthought, and he's a guy who can score from anywhere on the field. He has a chance to have a ridiculous season. It might not show in this crazy numbers of 100 catches because Tyreek's getting paid, so Tyreek's getting his too. So it's gonna be the touches will be more spread out. So he might have less catches, but way more yards. And I think if Tua's anywhere above serviceable, they're gonna be a dangerous team.
Now I'm with you. Sid said, don't understand the Tua slander. I feel like Waddle's in a beautiful situation. Yeah, I don't get it either. I think people are just tripping. Again, he got drafted to a worse professional team that he played at in college. So, keep that in mind. The other thing is, if you think about some of the other teams in the league that run this offense, right? Bro, Waddle's a yak monster waiting to happen. He just didn't have nobody else to threaten the defense, right? So you get to legit go into a season this year after you were the guy, and no disrespect to him, man. Like, this is love. I get to come in. You gonna double team me? You gonna roll coverage my side and leave Tyreek? No, you're not. You're gonna roll towards Tyreek. I'm gonna kill you. I'm going to give you work because you can't leave Tyreek. Like I wish you would roll it to my side. That's where Waddle's at. I wish you would. I dare you. I double dog dare you. That's it. And if you want to think about it, look at we just talking about Minnesota, right? Look at how Jefferson and Thielen play off each other, right? Except this is just pure unadulterated, filthy speed. So, or you look at San Fran where you had Brandon and you got Debo and Brandon with Brandon running clear outs and Debo running those digs and drifts and things of that nature. Now, Tua, what San Fran didn't have was the ball didn't go to the clear out or go to that route going over top that often. Tua's going to let that thing go. If that's Tyreek or Waddle, it's one-on-one. Or you think a safety in the corner finna beat them dudes to a spot on a post? No. You just pick a spot. You let that thing go. It's going back to college. Okay. And it's coming off. That run game is going to be so stupid. The play action, it's going to be schemed open shots with speed demons. I don't think people get it. You just got to put the ball out there. And Tua's capable of doing that, man. We've seen his offense work with far less talented quarterbacks than Tua. He should be fine. Kirksey said Tua got the weapons. Now he got a show. Yeah, I think it'd be fine. Super dangerous for sure. Yeah, and I think they are. And again, we're not even mentioning Gesicki. Like people are gonna have fun because again, even in Kansas City, I'm sure people would have loved to double Kelsey and bracket him as much as you could. Were you really going? Am I going to leave Tyreek one-on-one with somebody? No, I'm good. Meanwhile, Kelsey just murdering whoever in the middle of the field. Whole middle of the field here just to do whatever he wants. And again, this is not an indictment on Kelsey or anything else. Bro, it's Tyreek freaking Hill. I mean, you can leave him if you want to, but I mean, stress. That's all I got to say. Stress on the defense. Stress. All right, Devontae Smith, another Bama guy, 64 catches, 916 yards last year, 5 tugs. Justin?
Yeah, Smith was a pro. Like he came out as a pro. He came out polished. He came out just knew the game. And he stepped in and came to NFL. And as soon as he got going, it just translated. His game just translated. He showed the ability to be a number one. But with their offseason, it's perfect for him because it allows him to kind of be that 1B, 1A, 1B, where him and AJ Brown can complement each other. He can make the big plays, but he's consistent with the routes. His hands, he can get open. But we weigh in 150, 60, 70 pounds. It's certain things you're just not physically able to do, or you can, but it's a lot harder than it needs to be. But AJ don't have that problem because AJ's 215, 220. That business they adding AJ just rounds that out and it opens it up for Devontae, opens it up for Hurts. It's just I think Hurts. Devontae just can do everything. There's nothing Devontae can't do. He's one of them guys that he's above average in all things. But again, it's just I think just them being a better team can make the game easier for him. I think being the only reliable target last year at 160 pounds, that's a lot to ask for anybody. And he went across the middle. He made run after catch plays, and even late in the season, that playoff game, it was obvious he's the only dude that can do anything out there. And I just think I look forward to seeing what he can do. With some help.
Oh yeah, same for me, man. The whole conversation, literally just copy and paste that last conversation. All right, Waddle, after being a guy last year, enter Tyreek Hill, right. Devontae in the wide receiving core that where he needed some help to take some pressure off him. Enter AJ Brown. You are no longer the public enemy number one for opposing defenses, which means you're not getting CB1s from other teams. You're going to eat. I'm just going to be frankly honest because you ate last year when you had to be the guy as a rookie. You were productive. People knew you was getting the balls. Hey, man, Waddle. Now, we know you're getting the ball, but, man, that's AJ Brown. I can't just let AJ come off these slants or these digs or this comeback. I can't just put anybody over there. And meanwhile, Devontae gets some dude who shouldn't be on him freedom, just pure one-on-ones with that silky smooth dude. Route running. Look, man, And then again, similar thing. They got a whole very good tight end over there and Goddard. Devontae might be like third on things to worry about over there, and not because of his talent. So should be interesting. Sid said Jalen Rager currently at the Philly bus stop. That's tough. We gonna see. Yes, they did get Bradbury. Yeah, man, they're in a good place. Last night we did something with Sports Ruckus on their Twitter. You guys get over their Twitter. Justin has it up on the screen. It was two Justins. We had Justin Walters, Justin Gamble, and went through the NFC East just as a division in the whole, talk about their changes, their off seasons in the whole. We'll be going through each division little by little on that medium. So we keep you guys head up. Keep you guys abreast of that. The best thing to do, the easiest way to do it, is just follow Sports Records and you guys know what happened. And again, turn your notifications on here and you have a pretty good idea when it happens next. All right, up next, we got Kadarius Toney. Don't know how much time we're going to spend on this one, but here you go.
You know what? I got to be honest. He, in his little time that he was out there, he showed just like, I think it's that weird, like that, for Stevie Johnson, like that. Things don't look right, but it just works for him, But he might be moonwalking, kryptonite. He just does random things, but I think sometimes as a corner, as a defensive back, certain signs or symbols tell he's gonna, he's always gonna do this, he's gonna do that. Toney's not doing any of that, and I think as a defender, it's hard to cover him because you never know where he's gonna be, and it sucks to be a quarterback too because you never know where he's gonna be. Like I think that's the thing, but he showed the ability to win. I mean, I know it was a game against the Cowboys where he went crazy. He couldn't cover. And I just think if you look at him a specific way, he's gonna he can make plays. He can run with the ball, that type of thing. But it's hard for him to be a reliable target. But as like a slot guy or a guy you move around, he's gonna, he can make plays. But I've heard. I don't know how he's doing out there, him getting along with the staff or whatever the case may be, if he's on the trading block or whatever. But and then picking guys that do the same thing as him, which is it's kind of weird. But he's gonna be a contributor. It's just I can see his production fluctuating. You're gonna get a good week, and you're gonna get a week where they don't play him because they're mad at him. You know what I mean? Because he ran the wrong route or did something he shouldn't have did. It's gonna always be that type of situation with him, up and down. But he's a playmaker.
Yeah, for him, he doesn't have the luxury those other two have that we talked about before. There's not another like ideal for sure outside threat over there. So his again, I think the best thing you say is like Justin said, he was productive in his role last year. The limited time we got to see him, and he's a guy that can create yak. And you always need those guys. On Rashad Bateman, 46 catches, 515 yards last year. I think he almost will have to take a step up out of necessity, and it looks like that's what they're planning on as they kind of you let Hollywood Brown go on, etc. You elevating kind of Devin Duvernay to a degree. I think Bateman was brought in to kind of be the guy for Lamar, and we're gonna see. That's it. Like I think that's what it was, and when the team moves on that quickly, it's kind of like, all right, cool. Like if you're okay to move on that quickly, it means you kind of were waiting for it anyways. Your thoughts?
Right. I agree with that. That was kind of the same thing I was thinking. Just like they brought him in as to be, I think with Howie Brown was like there's so much fluctuation of up and what's he gonna be today? Is he gonna give us big plays? Is he gonna drop the ball? And now you're bringing in a guy who's he doesn't have that explosiveness, but he's a reliable target. I think that's what they want from Lamar, to have a guy where he can run the in route, he can run a stop route. He's just a consistent receiver. I think the combination of him and Duvernay is what they're looking for. One of them to be more of the big play guy, but Bateman to be actually kind of be that reliable target and let them grow together. You're not going to get the big stuff from Bateman, but again, it'll just give Lamar someone who we can kind of have have that confidence in. And like I said, as they need to make that offense more what's the word called? Make that offense more so they stay on schedule. And they've been struggling with that for years. It's too much depending on Lamar doing stuff that he shouldn't have to do. Which unfortunately can lead to injuries and little nicks. So I think that'll help.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is like we got to think about like since he's been in Baltimore, what are the type of receivers that he's had the most, the best rapports with? Is honestly been the tight ends, right? So why not go get you somebody who similar size or similar size on the outside, right? Where you can do those things. Where I think Bateman's ideal. Where as an outside receiver, like you said, reliable is going to be where he's going to be. The catch is a bigger catch radius, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And he's still big enough to make some things shake with Yak, but it's not the dumb explosive plays. But enter Duvernay, who's dumb fast, but built. He's just built better than Hollywood, where you can still send him over the middle and he could take a lick. He's built to take a lick and keep moving. Because it's you go from 160 to 210 or 205, what have you. Two totally different body types. Which is huge. So they just feel like Ravens. You did not lie. All right, the next two guys, we got Elijah Moore and Rondale Moore. Elijah, 43 catches, 538 yards, 5 touchdowns in the air, 5 carries, 54 yards on the ground, and 1 touchdown. Rondale Moore had 54 catches, 435 yards, just 1 touchdown. And then 18 carries for 76 yards, no touchdowns in his rookie year as on the member of the Cardinals. So for the Jets and the Cardinals, how do you think they feel about where their respective Moores are going into this year?
Elijah Moore, I think, is going to have again, I think he's going to have a really good season just because, with the additions they have, adding Garrett Wilson to go outside, they'll allow Moore to go into the slot consistently. And he showed last year, actually, a few games where Zach Wilson was playing pretty well. He torched Miami. I think he had another big game. I'm not sure, maybe Patriots, where, they couldn't stop him. One-on-one coverage, he was beating guys and making plays. So, in college, he was the go-to guy. So it wasn't just a slot-only type thing. Like, he could win in different areas. But, with like we talked about the other guys, being able to just move inside and, use his polish and ability to make plays, I think, and not having to focus on him is going to allow him to have to step up and have a big year. But yeah, Moore's a good player. Elijah Moore, a really good player. And again, there's nothing he can do a little bit of everything, which is a plus. And then for Rondale, it's a little different. No one really can tell you what the Cardinals' plan is. You thought you knew, and then Hollywood Brown next to Rondale, and then they brought AJ Green back, and now Hopkins is out, and then the other whatever guys they had, Isabel and whatever. But it's just they're trying to run a college offense, so I think for him it's just going to be them manufacturing touches for him. And again, he's a playmaker with the ball in his hands, but in NFL it's not you don't live that way. There's guys that can run with the ball in their hands, but they're receivers too. So you don't want to be the guy where when you come on the field, they know you get the screen and you're getting little stuff like that. So he's one I'm interested to see how they use him, and then plus to probably pay Hollywood Brown because you gave all those picks for him. So to kind of see how they maneuver the thing. I think it's probably going to be some type of 4 wide type thing where they really go back to Texas Tech type stuff. But I'm interested to see how it works out. And again, he's going to be a guy that's going to make some plays, but you just don't know how to rely on that.
All right, Sid, as any concern about Elijah Moore and a solid Ram team with Wilson at quarterback?
You probably answered as well, but to me, I would say no, just because the way that offense is run, they're going to probably be running some type of San Francisco type thing. So you might get a lot more easy, like we were talking about one of the receivers earlier. You're going to get a lot more easy touches. It's going to be a lot less work to get open because the scheme is going to scheme you open. You're going to get some of those play action double move type things. You're going to get, some of those what do you call it, the bootleg with him coming across and he's uncovered. Like you're going to have those touches to add in. Again, just to add in where last year was so much work. And the quarterback struggled with a lot of things. So I think he can win his routes, and in the slot he's gonna he'll win those routes. But then you're gonna have the touches that are manufactured. So I think that'll boost his production.
Yeah, for me, I kind of think more it'd be more similar how the Rams work out their 3 wide receiver sets more often than not. Just because of what they already have out there, right? You got Corey Davis out wide. You took Garrett Wilson. That's another guy you're gonna put outside, and you're gonna have Elijah in there. You just let him eat. kind of think about, obviously, I know he's not Cooper Kupp, but think about how the Rams put Cooper in the slot, and how, think about, like, every team knows Cooper's getting the rock when he's in the slot, but because of their play designs and their 3 wide receiver sets, he's able to get favorable matchups, right? And this is something different where this is more of a unit, right? More of, it's a young unit, but it's a rounded out unit. Corey Davis that's wide receiver 1 type dude, right? Garrett Wilson gets a slide in, not as much pressure, but that's somebody people have to honor, ideally, right? And then Elijah last year, he could play in this league, man. He's going to be fine, but it's just about Zach. And that's it. And the biggest thing with Zach is stay on schedule. And then when you're off script, do what you do. But do your best. It's about how well do you stay on schedule. And that's it. You stay on schedule more times than not, you're good. The times when it is off schedule, get in your bag. It's fine. Just you have full freedom. Get in your bag. However, kind of leave that over there as like the big red button for just in case. But in college, too often than not, he was tapping the heck out that button. And you don't have to. Just, take your time. But up next, Justin, I'm going to let you do this one, and I'll be right back. We got Dwayne Eskridge and Terrace Marshall Jr.
Don't go too far. It's a quick one. Now, was it Dwayne Eskridge he was probably the wrong place, to produce early with, having DK and Lockett next to him. So, I mean, that was a tough situation. Plus the fact that Russ isn't really a get the ball out of his hand quick guy, so that kind of limited his production. And then just, you hope year 2 you'll see a little bit more production as a slot guy or as 3rd, 4th receiver. You're not gonna get crazy numbers, but again, he's an explosive player, so you might mix in a few big plays with him. And then was it Marshall, Terrace Marshall. Again, he had a good preseason, and that team fell off the tracks fast, so it's kind of hard to really put much on him because that team just was bad. Like, no one was really producing over there. But again, he's a big receiver who can make plays, can run routes, can do a little bit of everything. So I expect more from him. I don't know if it'll be in Carolina, but again, you want to see some type of growth from them as a team with, learning how to use, all the weapons they have, because they do have some weapons over there. So just seeing him, grow, and hopefully, whether it's Matt Corral or Sam Darnold, a healthy Christian McCaffrey would just make that offense better. But again, he can play, so hopefully it'll work out for him. If anybody has any questions, if not, we'll move on to the next guy. We'll go to Amon-Ra St. Brown from Detroit. He had a great year. Towards the end of the season, he was probably, if you go into fantasy or stuff like that, he was one of the best receivers in the league, if not the best. Putting up stats every week with his run after catch ability, his built work in the slot, contested catches. He's a guy to watch, and they added some talent around him, so that's a growing team. That they have Goff, and he's not throwing the deep ball, so that's perfect for him. So St. Brown's a guy who definitely definitely a guy to watch. You expect to have a big year this year, and just keep getting better with that unit. What else we got? We got Nico Collins in Houston Texans. He's another good receiver that next to Brandon Cooks and Davis Mills. Actually had a really good year last year, so you expect a guy like him to just play his role and a deep threat, explosive guy who can make tough catches and complement Cooks. And they're all growing together, and that's actually a good young, not to say a good young team, a team that's showing some signs of growth, and they're only going to get better as you add more players. And I'm just expecting more from him as the year goes. But if no one has anything to add, we'll get out of here. We'll catch up with you guys tomorrow and continue the show then.
Sorry about that. Just got back. Had to run and take out the dog. I don't know what just happened to Justin, but you said you were really let down by Marshall Sid. Was that the poor coach and the QB play? I think it's a combination of both. Me personally, interested in seeing what just happened, but Yeah, I don't know. They need to figure out what they're doing at quarterback, and then maybe we get a better idea of what Terrace can become. And I feel so bad for DJ Moore, man. Dude's one of the best weapons in the league, one of the best wide receivers in the league, and he's out there just kind of sort of going through it. They need to stabilize that quarterback position some way, somehow. I don't know if anybody that's currently in the building is the guy, but they need to at least get somebody somewhat consistent. Honestly, that would be ideal. All right, y'all. My fault. That was just saying, pretty much wrap things up. So if you guys had any more questions or topics you guys wanted to get to, if not, we will close and we'll return tomorrow again. To lead things off like normal. Talk about the NBA playoffs. I appreciate you, Kirksey and Dawkins. Anybody else that tuned in, don't forget, we highly encourage you guys to hit the comment section and join the conversation each and every morning. Not only join it, you are free to steer it, as these guys often do. So give you guys a couple more moments, and then we will call it a day. And hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And you're more than welcome to suggest topics, a day in advance or what have you. But I guess at some point we need to probably look at the NFL schedule, which we could probably do at some point. But I think that looks like it is it. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning.